Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Marmalade Partner Webinar Series. I'm Steph Jorgel, Head of Americas for Marmalade, and I will be your host for this series. The Marmalade Partner Webinar Series is designed to share thought leadership, trends, and tips around the services and integrations that work with the Marmalade cross-platform game development SDK, and features partners Flurry, Fortumo, HasOffers, PaymentWall, ShepHertz, GameHouse, and others. We'll start off with 45 minutes of presentation, followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. Feel free to post your questions during the presentation in the lower left part of the screen. We will address these questions just following the presentation. Today's guest speaker is Dhruv Chopra, technical software architect for ShepHertz, who's going to talk about the gamification of cross-platform games and explain how to best integrate multiplayer gaming and back-end as-a-service technologies into your games, including showing how to use App42 APIs in a Marmalade-made game. Dhruv?
Okay, great. So start then. So thanks for the introduction, and thanks to Marmalade for setting up this webinar series and ShepHertz to present. So this is what I'll be talking to you about today. I'll start by giving you guys an introduction of our company and our products. We'll then go over some customer use cases and how they are using our products. We'll then dive a little deeper into our multiplayer gaming engine and go over the differences in using the cloud on-premise offering. As Stephanie mentioned, I'll then go over a Marmalade game sample that we've developed and describe how it's written. Include some code snippets, and then we'll do a little Q&A at the end. Yeah, so our vision is to solve the backend requirements of application developers. Now, a lot of indie developers and studios have expertise when it comes to client-side technologies. However, the backend is being equally important. It requires a different skill set. So this is where ShepHertz products come in and solve the backend needs of the. We've built a rich and customizable backend that developers can access through their client-side applications. Using ShepHertz clouds means that you don't have to worry about, as client-side developers worry about hosting or securing and scaling your backend. It's all taken care of by us. We provide which is a backend as a service. Developers can store, edit, and retrieve their application data. This is what it's called the App42 Cloud API. We also provide a real-time gaming server backend, in which to do the real-time we do the communication directly over TCP and UDP sockets. This is App42. Now these products are offered on-premise as well. We'll be diving deeper into App42 later in the slide, and I'll describe to you the considerations that you should make when deciding which way to go, that is cloud or on-premise. We've also reached earlier this year our PaaS product, which is Platform as a Service. This is targeted for developers who are building web-based applications, say in PHP, Node.js, or Ruby, things like that. Now, with this product coming out in the market, we have the complete ecosystem, or the complete cloud ecosystem for developers, be it developers who are building multiplayer games or even backend web apps also. Alright, so I'll now talk a little more about our backend as a service product, which is App42. So App42 offers developers various ready-made backend modules, and those can be directly hooked into your applications. So things such as leaderboards, JSON storage, user management, etc., which are required in most games are provided as ready-made modules. So now what I mean by a ready-made module is that you can directly from the client write using our SDK, use our APIs such as in the example of a leaderboard, say save score. So you pass in the username, the game name, and the score that you want to store, and then call get top scorers, which will essentially return a list of the top scorers. So this way you can build a complete leaderboard and just using the client side SDK. So we give out SDKs such as we support all platforms and the middleware such as Marmalade as well. Now the data that is stored on our backend is accessed via HTTPS, the REST framework. Now each application that is created gets its own sandbox on our cloud. This is identified by unique keys that you get when you sign up with us. The backend will maintain your data to scale it up as and when it's required. We offer a very competitive pricing model, which has a base package that is free forever for indie developers. The pricing then beyond that will follow a pay-as-you-go model with different slabs. We also have enterprise plans and deployments for companies which expect very large volumes. App42 also comes with a rich dashboard, developer dashboard, through which you get admin access to your data, and it also allows you to do advanced analytics on your data. Now another big feature of App42 is that it also gives you the ability to customize your own, to customize the backend or to push your own custom code to our cloud. You can write your own REST wrappers and is generally useful if you're doing compound operations or if you have some module that you want to say frequently update. Changing the logic code without updating the client, you can alter the way the client is behaving. So this is a simple usage distribution graph with backend modules that we have. These are some of the popular modules that are being used by our customers. The sessions which are ones allow you to associate key value for a particular user. These, along with our user management API, as you guys can see, the most used ones, as these are the most generic ones and can be used for any kinds of applications, be it a game or a news application or application, etc. The APIs that we see that are most commonly used in games are push notifications and our leaderboard API. Also, a lot of customers are making asynchronous turn-based games using they store the game data onto our JSON storage. Right now, I'll talk a little bit about our multiplayer gaming platform. So this works, and this is our real-time backend. This is for multiplayer, which requires real-time interaction between clients. So such as multiplayer racing games, FPS games, or even some real-time turn-based games such as say Rapid Chess or Quiz Up, will require a real-time gaming backend. Now, how AppWorks helps is that it offers, again similar to App42, a ready-made backend with features such as matchmaking, lobbies, proxies, etc. And similar to App42, we offer AppWorks also offers, or rather comes with client SDKs, including middleware such as Marmalade, which expose high level, it directly calls from your application. Uh, so for example, to join a room, you just call the join room API, and for let's say matchmaking, wherein you want to join a particular room, but you don't know let's say the room ID, so you just say, oh, I want to join this room with properties. To achieve the real-time performance, all the communication is done over a custom binary protocol that we've developed, and the communication happens on top of transport layer sockets such as TCP, UDP, and web sockets for HTML5 browsers. Regarding pricing, it's again similar to our other cloud product App42, wherein the basic the initial slab is free forever for indie developers, and beyond that it's as you use the product you move into higher slabs. Now, AppWork also comes in a different, also comes as an on-premise library as well for developers who want to extend or host their own backend. The on-premise version, which I'll be talking more in detail later on, is primarily for developers whose games require customizing how events are handled on the server or extending the backend. So essentially for developers who want to modify the cloud backend behavior. So anyway, I'll be going in much more detail later on in the slides. Right, now the next few slides I wanted to talk a little about or just introduce you to some of or some scenarios of how our customers are using the products in live apps. So this is Pic Force from Rootworks. It's a very popular Android real-time action game on the Play Store. This uses AppWork Cloud for creating online gaming arenas, and the real-time interaction between the players is done using our Update API. Chota Bheem from Reliance Games. This is a big game in India. They use the App42 Cloud Backend Leaderboards and reward management modules. They also use our Leaderboard APIs to build a social leaderboard in which you can see how you rank amongst your Facebook friends. This is a popular use case. The Facebook leaderboard is a popular use case of single player social games. Then I from Hyderabad. This provides a second screen experience for TV viewers. So when a show is on, what second screen means in their case is that when a show is on, users can use this app to chat with others who are also watching the show. This makes the TV watching experience more social. How they're using our product is they're using the AppWork chat rooms. So even though they're not really building a multiplayer game, but they're using our chat room services to provide this second screen experience to their customers. This is Hungama Digital is a popular music and games publisher. They publish primarily a lot of games based on popular action movie titles. So they're using App42 Cloud for sending push notifications. They do this to keep their users informed about updates about new apps that are coming up or releases that their publishing houses coming up with. Gravitire is a game in Marmalade by Emergency Soft. This is available on Android and iOS app stores. They use AppWork Cloud SDK, and they use it for their multiplayer gaming mode, and they also use our Marmalade APIs for gameplay, similar to how Loot works does it in Epic's words. Alright, so with that, I'll be diving a little deeper into our app work and the multiplayer gaming engine. Now, so first I'll talk a little bit about cloud and when the cloud is the best way to go when it comes to deciding on-prem or cloud for app work. So as I explained earlier a little, that developers, if your game relies only on exchanging information between clients without any server-side validation or manipulation, then the cloud is probably going to be fine for your app. Multiplayer games such as side-scrolling or action combat, racing, as well as simple real-time turn-based games or two-player turn-based games can be developed using the cloud. Using the cloud gives you the benefit that you don't have to take on the headache of deploying and managing the server of your game. You will just be writing the client-side business logic and utilizing the ready-made server-side features of rooms, lobbies, and matchmaking. So it's recommended that you use the cloud if your scenario fits the ready-made backend. Now, while the cloud is great for a lot of use cases, for a lot of scenarios, there are some cases in which it may not work for you or for your scenario, and that you want the backend to behave in a different way than it is. So the default backend behavior may not be what takes care of the scenario that you're trying to implement. Now, in these cases, we will be using the on-premise version, which comes as a server-side Java library. This is called App42. Games which typically will use this are ones which require some sort of hosted artificial intelligence logic, or such as casino games in which you want the dealer to always be there, or you want to control how the dealer is behaving. This can in an MMO, you want a server generated character to be always present in the game, or games in which you want server side anti-cheat logic, or you have some custom server side authentication that you need to do. So these are cases in which the cloud will not suffice, and you will have to go for the on-premise version, which is App42. We have complete samples with full source code for all of these cases, and these just help you understand the procedure for extending and writing the backend. Now, since App42, which is the on-premise library, is built on top of the same platform that service, the client SDKs are the same. And thus, even if you have to port, let's say from cloud to the on-premise server, your client code can be used as is, and there's very little throwaway that will happen. As developers are going to be building and hosting the server side themselves, they can also freely integrate other third-party libraries as well on the server, such as, let's say if you want to do server-side Facebook authentication, then you can easily include the Facebook library and extend your Alright, now I'll do a little walkthrough of one of the AppWork on-premise samples. The sample is called Space Warfare, and the client side of this game is written in Marmalade. So we also have a similar sample in which the client side is written in ActionScript for Flash-based games. These are some screenshots on how it looks. So there's going to be a server-generated dragon, which looks more like a big robot. The smaller soldiers are going to be the clients that are connected to the server, and which are going to be controlled by the end users. So the gameplay is fairly simple or in this demo application. The clients connect to the server and join the same virtual room. The clients then see the server generated dragon move around the screen and they have to shoot it. They can also see other clients that are connected on their screen and see them move in real time. As they shoot the dragon, the dragon's health reduces, and when it reaches zero, it's dead. It will then respawn after 10 seconds. The server-side extension for this dragon is written in Java over the App42 server, and the client side is in Marmalade, which interacts with the server using our App42 Marmalade SDK. So how does it work on the server? Well, on the server, we will need to extend the base room adapter class, and you guys will write your own logic of the dragon there. We'll use the server-side game loop that App42 comes with, and you will use that to send out updates to the clients about the dragon's current position. In this sample, we just made it move randomly, but in a more advanced game, you'd probably want to use some sort of AI engine and decide where it's going to move. The server then also receives updates from the clients about their position and when they shoot at the dragon, so that the health can be reduced. So the server also broadcasts the information to other clients when this happens, and also the positions that it's receiving from the clients, so they can see each other and the dragon move in real time on their screens. So here are some code snippets. The complete source code is available as a package when you download after you sign up with us. But I'll go over some of the important functions here. So this is a function that gets invoked, the handle chat request function. This gets invoked anytime the client sends a message. Now in this sample, we are sending JSON, we are exchanging JSON messages between the client and the server. So I've just used the chat API. However, if you want to send bytes, then you can use the API, which is probably what you would use if you are doing a production let's say application. You want to minimize the payload that is being exchanged between the client and the server. However, JSON is a little easier to explain, so we'll be going ahead with that in this sample. So first, when we receive the message, we have to parse it as JSON and see what type of a message it is. We check if the client has sent a hit message. If that is the case, then we reduce the health of the dragon. Else, we just let it be. So the default behavior of the server is to broadcast to all the clients received. So in the case the client is just sending its position update, on the server side we don't need to do anything and hence don't handle it. So the message is going to be delivered to all the other clients as is. If the dragon's health has fallen below zero, it's dead, we send a message to all the clients informing them of its demise so that they can remove it from their screen. Okay. Now to generate the dragon's move, we write the logic in the server-side game loop, which is invoked every time the timer ticks. This timer tick is of course configurable in the properties file that you will write on the server. So in every timer tick, what we do is we check if the dragon is alive or not. If it is, then we generate a random position for it to move and broadcast this update to all the clients in the room. This messaging, since we're doing it in JSON, we build a simple JSON message, JSON object, and then convert it into a string and send it out. If the dragon is dead, that is, its health is below 0. What we do is we check how long it's been since it was last live, and if it has been more than 10 seconds, we simply respawn it. How we do that is by resetting its health and its position to its default value, and then when the next timer tick will come along, it will see that, oh, it has some health and the dragon is alive, and the positions will be sent as in the first case in the if statement of this function. Okay, so that was about the server side. Of course, the complete source code is available once you download. I only described the high level or the logical functions there in detail. Now, clients, right? So clients, what they do is as I mentioned earlier, it's written in Marmalade, and how they work is that they connect to the same app zone and the rooms as others. How you make zones and rooms via the dashboard is quite straightforward and is described on our site with screenshots. So I'll just be skipping over that for now. Now, as the users move their player around the room, they encode their position as JSON and send it to the server. So in addition to their positions, if they shoot at the dragon, then they need to send a hit message to the server, indicating that they've scored a hit. They also need to interpret messages that they receive from the server. The messages can either be one which indicates the positions that the other users are moving, or it can also indicate the position of the dragon and its health. So that's about what the client will be doing. Now for the UI of the client, we've used the Focus 2D framework that comes along with the Marmalade. So we've used Focus 2D because it comes with tile maps and some simple graphics that we wanted to include in this sample. Alright, now we'll see some of the key code snippets from the client side of the game. Now again, client side source code, the Marmalade source code is also available. The complete source code is included in the package that you get when you download the app for on-premise setup. So this is how the client handles messages that it receives. It parses them as JSON and checks who the sender is. It then knows whom to update, that is whether it's from the dragon or from another user. Now we've used the C-JSON library here for parsing JSON, but you guys can use any other JSON library that you prefer. Something else to note here is that if you see, the client also checks in the sender, it also checks if it's not equal to itself. This is because the server broadcasts all messages by default that it receives to everyone in the room, which includes the sender of that message as well. So the client ignores, so in our case, the client should ignore the message in which it itself was the sender. So that's the last. That's what the last else if cases, conditional cases is doing. Right. Next, we see how the client shoots. Now, to shoot at the dragon, the client simply has to tap on the screen. So we catch the touch event and move a bullet accordingly. So we just use the focus to the sprites here, and we move them along their trajectory. Now, being a sample, we've kept the graphics and effects to a minimum, so as we haven't really used box 2D, etc. So as to keep the attention more on the integration with App42. Now, if we check, so going forward, we check if the tap overlaps with the dragon's current position. If it does, then that means that the player has scored a hit. We then build a JSON message and inform the server about it. So the server can then reduce the dragon's health on its end, which is what we saw in the code snippet earlier from the server. Now finally, we come to how the client is sending its position. Since we wanted to port this application onto mobiles as well, and to desktops and mobiles with the same application. So what we've done is we've put a simple controller layer on top of the UI, the client-side UI. But how you would actually do it in a production application is probably that if you're doing the desktop build of Marmalade, then you capture or you'll update the position of the player using the keyboard, and if it's a mobile build, you will probably want to use the accelerometer. However, to keep it simple, in this sample, we've just drawn a simple controller that we saw in the screenshot earlier, through which you can control the way your local player is moving. So now to prevent flooding of messages, what we've done is we send out the position of the client every 100 milliseconds. We again build a JSON message which contains the coordinates of the client, and use the chat API since we're using string-based JSON. What we also do is we update the remote players' positions in every frame with the information that we got in the chat event earlier from the server. So yeah, again, this is you guys can take a look at the complete source code to see how the flow is happening. Right. So that's where I'd like to conclude. So we just saw how you guys can build a simple app for P2 or use App42 co-op game in very quickly and to get set up. So this is just some links to our product sites, and App42, just to do a little recap, App42 is our backend as a server, App42 is our real-time gaming backend, and App42 S2, which is the on-premise version, is what we just did the walkthrough of, and of course App42 PaaS, which is our newly launched PaaS product. Alright, so yeah, we can take some questions now.
Okay, we had a couple of questions that came in while you were talking. Let's start with GameFace from San Francisco. There's a question around there were actually two questions. One was, do you provide admin tools for all of these services?
Yes, we provide admin tools. So the app, so we have a developer dashboard through which you can access all the data that is being generated by your application, and you can also do analytics on them. So, for example, if let's say you're using our JSON storage for building anywhere in your application. then you can actually see the entire JSON objects that are being stored onto our cloud, and you can download them, and you can also perform pivot analytics using simple Excel plugins that are provided in the dashboard itself. So yeah, the support is there for you guys to to do admin like operations. If more admin operations, other than that, you can also do things like let's say if a user is a user of your application wants has not, let's say you want to remove a certain user from using your application, you can invalidate a user, or you can reset a user's password policy, etc. So those kind of admin operations can also be done using the dashboard.
Okay, let's see. The next question from the same person was, do you provide admin tools what kind of support do you provide for indie developers? And there was a subsequent question that was asked from the same person that says, does the server go down? What's the structure that you have for ops support?
Sorry, didn't get the second part. The server goes down when?
The question was, do you ever have downtime on your server, and what's the structure?
Okay, sure. Okay, yeah. Very good. So now for indie developers, so our backend services are essentially the same whether you're using it as an indie developer or whether you're a studio or a bigger company using our backend services. What we do for indies is that like I mentioned in our slide also, when it comes to pricing, we do offer a base package which is free forever. So if your usage of our backend falls under a certain limit, then it's free, and you can just use the service for free. That's I guess the only difference we have when it comes to offering indie developers. The other question regarding downtime. Yes, well, whenever there is our services experience, whenever there is some downtime, then or we're doing some scheduled maintenance, we do inform users about it. However, this is something that we try to reduce as much as possible. So, for instance, how we manage this is that we have multiple servers deployed, and whenever we do our maintenance, we do that one by one. So what happens is, let's say if we have 4 servers deployed and there's a load balancer which sits in front of them. So while we have taken down one server for maintenance, the other servers will be in operation. So the clients don't experience any downtime. However, in let's say some case where some exceptional case where we do have to shut down for some period of time, then we'll send out a notification to our users. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think there was just one other question the same person had, and it said, why Java, is it scalable? What's the highest DAU of a game on your server? I'm guessing that is active users. And they just want to know if the service is scalable as demand grows, and if you can explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so so our servers are that's essentially what we do is we built a scalable backend. So what we do is on our side, what we do is as the application's traffic grows or reduce auto scaling on our backend. So that's something that is abstracted from the developers. Regarding the highest daily active users of a game on our server, see, we handle typically around say around the multiplayer engine handles close to 1 billion messages or so a day, and similar similar count is there on our cloud backend as well, the backend as a service. The highest daily active users is something that we can, I guess, get to you back with. It's not something, that's not a statistic that I have with me right now. We do auto skip, so we've not had cases where our services have gone down because the demand has increased, or because the traffic on our servers have increased so much that the servers have gone down.
We have another question that came in around the APIs that are supported for Marmalade, and whether there are any plans to expand beyond the ones that you have. And
yeah, so for Marmalade, what we've done is the Marmalade SDK for the backend, the App42 backend. We've started off with the most popular backend services that games are using, which is the user services, JSON storage service, and our leaderboard services. This is what game developers are primarily using our services for. However, as we get requests from developers who are using Marmalade SDK and they want to get native support, native SDK support for accessing those services, we add them on demand. Our plan is to release the complete Marmalade SDK with all the backend services supported sometime later in March. However, if there is anything that you guys require before that, we can always take it on priority and release the SDK soon.
Okay, great. There's another question that was around the pricing on the service. Is there a place that they can find this information on your website, or can you outline any details around the pricing for your service?
Yeah, sure. So our website has all the pricing details. I'll just share the links with you right away. As I mentioned, both our cloud services, so yeah, as I mentioned, both our cloud services for indie developers, they start off with a basic plan which is free forever, and then it grows as you access our backend services. But yeah, the detailed pricing is available on our website, which you guys can take a look at. And yeah, if you have questions, you can always contact us on support or on our even on our sales email address if you would like to do a custom package for you guys, or you want to learn more about the enterprise pricing.
Great. All right. I have let me paste this in to everyone here on the pricing. There are a couple more questions here. One was, do developers, and maybe this has already been crossed out, but do developers have to use Marmalade EDK for iOS, Android, or does ShepHertz have a native Marmalade SDK? I think you might have covered that one.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've made it easier for developers. While we do have iOS and Android SDKs which are in Java and Objective-C, but for Marmalade we have native C++ SDKs. So it makes it much easier for developers who are using Marmalade to integrate with our services. You just use the native Marmalade SDK, and you don't have to work with EDK. This is true for both AppWarp and App42 backend services.
Great. Next question is, how do developers handle latency in multiplayer?
All right. So there are several ways in which developers can do this. Some of the common ones are that you can do some client-side prediction techniques such as dead reckoning. You can read about this online. The other thing that you can do, or what ShepHertz provides, is that you can use our UDP API, which has lower latency when it comes to TCP compared to TCP in practice. What you can do is to connect to a cloud server which is closer to the client's location. So we have us in the game servers deployed in US, Japan, and Europe. So if, let's say, your client device is in London, then you can programmatically connect to our EU server connecting to the US server. So that way you'll get lower latency time.
Great. Next question is, does App42 have support for building a leaderboard among friends, or is it just a single global leaderboard?
So, in fact, a common use case for developers who are using our services for in social games. So using App42, you can not only build global leaderboards, but also get leaderboards amongst a group of users. So this group of users can either be, let's say, your Facebook friends, or let's say Google Plus contacts, or if you're maintaining your own buddy list, then it can be from there. So Reliance games that I had shown you of our customers, they in fact use App42 Cloud APIs to build both global leaderboards as well as a social leaderboard in which you can just see how you are ranking amongst your friends.
Great. Let's see. Don't see any other questions coming through right now, so I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide, which is outlining what our upcoming webinars are. We've got our next one is going to be Flurry AppSpot, which is the latest game-related industry data, on March 5th at noon Pacific time. The following one is AppNext, which is creative ways to improve app discovery, monetization, which is going to be on March 12th at noon Pacific time. And you can register at the link at the bottom there. And we thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much, Struve. And we will be setting around the slides to people who've participated in this webinar shortly. So thanks again for joining us, and we hope to have you on the next one. All right?